to our class. Today's topic is conflict management, inner strength and patience. So, question to all of you, what do we understand by conflict?
Difference of opinion which creates a mutual opposition type situation.
Yes, anyone else?
Conflict is always between right and wrong. We want to follow the shortcut and we want the society to accept our shortcut. And the conflict is there.
Right and wrong is always from someone's perspective and definitely based on dharma also. I don't deny that. But there'll be a difference of opinion. Two people may be telling right, but maybe the perspective, the way they are seeing is different. So it may not be a black and white right and wrong, but yes, it is two different perspective. And what you may think is wrong, I mean, think about us. I may think what my child is doing today is wrong, but from their perspective it is right because that's what it is. From a dharma perspective, yes, it could be right or wrong, that we can talk from a value or dharma perspective. But it may not be clear black and white, Mataji. Yeah, but yes, there'll be a difference in the views, you can say, or goals, you can say. Yeah, anything else?
So it could be like it's beneficial for one person and maybe not, in the interest of organization we are working with such type of conflict. I mean, the person, for whom this is not right, I mean, he would be, right, but it may not be right for the organization. So there will be a conflict. How to choose? I mean, how to take decision?
Right. So if it is not aligning with organizational vision, although he may think it is right, but it is not aligned to organizational vision, so it may be wrong from organizational perspective. That way we can define right and wrong. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. So what do we understand by conflict? Yes.
Yes, that.
That's it.
So I was just saying the conflict of interest it can.
Conflict of interest it could be. So conflict, that is conflict of interest. Yes. Conflict is a serious disagreement, or it could be just a disagreement, clash of interest, as we just now talked about. Organization mind is something else and organization vision is something else. It could be a difference in goals, difference in ideas, which can cause conflict, right? It can be between individuals, it can be between groups, and it can be within oneself, right? Within oneself. Now it can be within countries. Now we are seeing the conflict, the war is going on between countries, right? So it's a serious disagreement between the countries, right? Now now why do this conflict arise? So as we just it was told, opposing views, yes, differing values. Yeah, I feel that this is right, and as Aruna Mataji said, differing values. I may think this is right, but someone else may think no, this is wrong, right? That especially among generation gaps, this is common. What I think right may not be right from my the next generation or from my previous generation perspective. So differing values, differing goals or ideas, again between individuals, groups and within oneself. So like differing values, an example from Vibhishan and Ravan. Ravan had actually kidnapped Sita. Yeah, so as per Ravan, this was right. It was his right to be entitled to the most beautiful women is there. So that is, as per Ravan, it was right. But as per Vibhishan, it was against dharma, it was against righteousness, right? Similarly, against by as for Kumbhakarna was concerned, it was wrong, isn't it? So they are the differing values. Yeah. Then again we talk about Yudhishthir and Duryodhan. For Duryodhan, it was his entitlement to be the king. Yeah. Or when the fight happened, it was his entitlement that he must become since he has taken the Indraprasth, it becomes his. But for Yudhishthir, he was okay, like, okay, I don't want I want don't give me Indraprastha back, but give me 5 villages. So it can be opposing goals, ideas that can be actually cause the conflict. Yeah. Then types of conflict. So there are various types of conflict. It can be interpersonal, which is within oneself. It can be intrapersonal, which is within oneself. It can be interpersonal, between individuals. It can be group or organization, that is between teams or department, or it could be ideological, based on values, like Vibhishan and Ravan, based on values, right? So these are the different type of conflicts are there. So we'll start with intrapersonal conflict. Can you give an example of intrapersonal conflict that is within oneself?
Sometimes the situation arises that where it observes, we have to decide. There's a conflict of interest like that. So, because in that daily life or some in the administrative job, sometimes you feel that you want to help somebody because it's close by, but he or she has done some wrong. Should be punishment. Punishment should be there. So that is the conflict which comes into the oneself
Fine.
as a situation.
Yeah, and then you have to take a decision. What do you want to do, right?
Yeah.
From a Bhagavad Gita perspective, any intrapersonal conflict within?
Was in
Procrastination case of Arjuna.
Yes, what happened to Arjun?
Yeah, he wanted to, he not want to wage a war because he thought he'll be losing his family members and there'll be a conflict within his family, and that women and children will be killed and that will affect the society and all. But then it was against the Dharma because he was a Kshatriya. So, yeah, that was the interpersonal conflict for him.
So we will take that example. So Bhagavad Gita is the best example of intrapersonal conflict and how Krishna as a guru helped Arjun to resolve it, right? So what was the conflict? Conflict with Arjun is he was torn between inner conflict, his duty as a warrior, and his emotional attachment with family, morality, that is fear of sin, and harmful effects of destroying family. This is what he was actually struggling, right? So this becomes a conflict within. That becomes a conflict within. And then what did Arjun do? Arjun actually surrendered to Krishna. I think we must have memorized this shlok by now. Karpanya dosho apahat swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yat shreyah sya nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadhi mam tva prapanna. Prapanna means I am surrendering to you. Yeah. So maybe you recite after me. Karpanya dosho apahat swabhava पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेता यत् श्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्ना. Yeah. So what he's saying is, now I am dharma sammudha cheta. I am basically confused about my dharma, dharma sammudha cheta. My consciousness is now like I am confused about my dharma, and I am asked prichhami. Prichhami is asking you. What am I asking you? Yet shreya, whatever is good, whatever is better. Syan, that. Nishchitam Bhuhitanme, tell me right. Now I'm so confused that I'm not able to understand anything. My mind is bewildered. Nishchitam, for sure. Bruhi, you tell me. Shishyaste aham, I am your shishya, I am your disciple. Shadi mam tvam prapanna, and I am surrendering unto you. By this slok, Arjun actually surrenders to Krishna and asks him to guide, right? Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered to you. Please instruct me. He is asking now to tell him what he should do or not. What lessons do we learn from surrendering of Arjun? We know the state before this shlok. Arjun is fully confused and finally he has surrendered to Krishna. So what lesson do we learn? What is the situation? Arjun is now standing in the battlefield. Arjun is now standing in the battlefield, about to start the war, right? That is the situation. And then at that point of time, all these miser, all compassion, everything has impacted him, and now he's surrendering. So what do we learn from this whole thing that is there? Any lesson that you think we can learn from this? He's the best warrior. He's going to fight and he's surrendering. He's confused. So what do we learn from this?
If we have an inner conflict, then we should go to some learned person and we should ask for knowledge or direction.
Right, very right. Very nice, very correct. Anyone else?
We
Aruna
should
ma'am?
surrender our problems, doubts, and inner worries.
We should?
We should surrender our inner doubts, worries to Krishna for the further guidance.
Yes, absolutely. That's right.
We should
Anyone else?
probably let go of our ego that we know everything, and we should take guidance from a learned person.
Yes, correct, very correct. We are in the right direction. So two things.
It
He's a
is
leader. Yes, Mataji. Aruna Mataji, tell me.
it is very natural to lose the vision or correct perspective in case of Mahabharat type situation, and we
Right.
should at that time take the guidance from the
Yes.
learned.
Yes. So here, if you look at that, if you look at the situation, Arjun is like the best batsman of the Indian cricket team, right? He's the best warrior, and he's now confused. So what will happen if he? I mean, it's like 100% sure we lose the battle or we lose the match, right? Yeah. So the learning for this is leaders needs to have clarity on their purpose to lead effectively. Unless they are clear, they will not be strong enough to be able to lead it. If we as a leader are mentally not emotionally disturbed, then I cannot lead my team or I cannot manage my class well effectively, right? If I say really, I can go to the class and pass my time, but am I leading my team properly? No. I will fail because I myself don't have clarity about my purpose, and I'm not emotionally balanced. And that was the situation of Arjun. Because of his inner conflict, he was not emotionally balanced, and he did not have clarity about. So we have to seek that when we are leading a team or leading anywhere, we should be very clear what we want and how we want, right? That is what we can learn, and then we should, if we are not clear, then we should surrender to someone who can guide us, who can help us to get those purpose and clear and get us the clarity so that we can actually lead properly, right? Or take our life forward properly. Yeah. Now, what are the root causes of conflict? Why conflict happens? What are the root causes of conflict?
No clarity of thoughts.
Of clarity.
Okay.
And emotionally attached to the things.
Yes.
Whatever we have learned from that, basically those are missing, then there is a cause of the conflict.
Yes. Okay.
Overconfidence or ego.
Yes.
Miscommunication.
Yes.
We have to face dualities in every situation. That could be the cause. Like,
Prabhu, I didn't get you again, Amit. Prabhu.
I mean, due to duality, I mean, we have to face the duality in every situation or work we do. I mean, if this is right or wrong, I mean, for me or for my family, like that. I mean, we have to, it's in a dual situation every time.
That is your inner conflict that we
Yes.
face when we are doing. Oh, yes, that could be the root cause of. So, what Krishna says, he says in third chapter, 37 sloks, he says, Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhava mahashano mahapapma vidyane iha varinam. Kam, so you can repeat after me. Kam esha krodha esha
Kama
Kamesha
esha, krodha
Krodesha
esha,
Eisha
rajo guna samudbhavah
Rajo
rajo guna
Samudbhava
samudbhava,
mahashano mahapapma
Mahashana
Mahashano Mahapapma
vidyaneyam iha varinam.
Vidyaneyam
Yam
Iham Parinam.
Varinam.
Yeah. So what Krishna says to Arjun, that the main cause of conflict or is kam esha krodesha. Kam is the unlimited desires that we have. Kam is basically the unlimited desires that we have, and krodh, anger, they all are the mode of rajoguna. They happen from where do they arise? Samudbhava. From where do they arise? They arise from the mode of passion. All the desires and the anger which arises from the mode of passion, mahashano, it is a great devour. It actually eats away everything, and mahapapma, and it is fully sinful. Vidme ihe varinam, and it is the biggest vary. Where is basically enemy. It is the biggest enemy. So basically the root cause of conflict, Krishna says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust. Lust is desires only, Arjun, which is born of contact with material mode of passion and later transformed into anger, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of the world. So what is as per Krishna, what is it? It is basically the endless desires and anger which arises because of mode of passion, right? Now what really is the detail of it? The drivers are the passion that happens, or the drivers are ego, right? As was mentioned by someone, ego. That is one of the biggest reason of conflicts. Everyone's ego is very high. And when is ego very high? When you are in a mode of passion. When we are in a mode of passion, then my ego is very, very high, and I always feel I am right. I always feel I am right. Then attachment. Again, attachment is a mode of passion. And that everything is, what is attachment? I want everything to be controlled by me and done by my way, right? Or attached to people, right? And fear and insecurity. So these are the three major reasons. Definitely communication gap also comes in when we go into detail about that, but ego of a person, attachment to material things, persons, fear and insecurity, they are the major conflict drivers. Yeah. So most conflicts are not about situation. Sometimes what happens, someone just shouts loudly and screams and does things, and we think that we try to, that is at a surface level, we try to solve that. Yeah. But actual the inner lying problems is where the conflict happens, is either because of ego. They are basically the root inside you. The ego, the attachment, and the fear and insecurity, they are the deep rooted causes which actually comes out as maybe the misbehavior that we do. Yeah. So leadership lesson, that do not only address the surface issue. Someone has screamed, someone has shouted, cursed, this and that. Just don't address that issue. You need to go deep into the reason why this person is behaving that way, why this all conflict is happening. And one of the reasons that will happen is either because of the person's ego, the person is egoist, or the attachment, or fear and insecurity. Yeah. Now next, how Krishna helped Arjun to resolve the conflict within. Now Arjun had a conflict within. He was attached. His problem was attachment and fear, right? He was attached to family, fear. These are the two things that he had, right? So how Krishna helped Arjun to resolve the conflict within? What was the major steps that Krishna did to solve the conflict within?
Krishna said he reiterated the fact that Arjuna was a Kshatriya and he had to perform his dharma. and dharma comes first. So yeah, that's one of the basic reasons is what I feel.
Anyone else?
According to he read that Shlok 2.47, that we should do our duty, prescribed duty, instead of seeing that what will be the fruit. We should not keep ourselves attached to the fruits. That was the main, and we should not be fear whether we will win or lose or whatever it is there.
Right, very good.
It is.
So we talked about Aishwarya Mataji and Lily, both of you talked about Karma Yoga. So he explained the Karma Yoga. One of the things he did was Karma Yoga. Before that, he explained him about the nature of self, about soul, that we are not this body but we are soul, isn't it?
Soul.
That's what he started with. That who are we? That's how Krishna started the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna explained Arjun about that who are we? What is our actual position? Arjun is struggling inside. It's a conflict within. So this, yes, for he explained first that we are not this body, we are soul, and many lives you have also come, I have also come. I remember everything, but you don't, right? Then he explained Arjun about various yogas, as explained by Kala. He explained Gyan Yoga. Gyan Yoga is basically I am the soul. I'm the soul, not this body. That comes under Gyan Yoga. Karma Yoga is, as mentioned, do your duty as a Kshatriya, which is basically Sakam Karma Yoga. And then what Lily Mataji talked about is Karma Yoga as a detachment, like that is the next level, like be detached and do the work, that is Nishkam Karma, right? And then Nishkam Karma with surrendering to Krishna is the Nishkam Karma Yoga. And then so he explained to him about Dhyan Yoga, then he explained to him about Bhakti Yoga. So he gave all the various yogas. Very important thing that he explained to Arjun is about why people behave the way they behave, and that is the modes of material nature. He says, why do we have this ego? Why do we have this attachment? Why do we have this fear and insecurity? So he explained about each of us, each of the soul, when we come to this world, we become conditioned, and we become conditioned by the three modes of material nature. And that is how, based on our basically about desires, unfulfilled desires, about karma, we all get conditioned, and based on our condition we all behave the way we behave. So he explained the modes of material nature, and one of the very important reason of conflict is in which mode we are operating, right? And how it impacts. So this is how Krishna explained to Arjun and helped him to come out of the conflict within. Yeah, this is what happened. So now let's understand the qualities of different modes. This is something very, very important for understanding from conflict resolution perspective. So as I mentioned, just like in the when we talk about colors, there are three primary colors: red, yellow and blue, right? All other colors comes from this color, right? And mixture of different colors. So whatever colors that we see in the universe, we are seeing such beautiful colors behind Miral Mataji and Aishwarya Mataji, right? All different shades of greens, right? So what happens, all these colors, there are so many different shades of green, all these colors are a mixture of RYB, right? Similarly, all the people that we are around, why they are different? They are different because of the modes of material nature in which we are. So each of us, if you think about a family, in a family all people are not alike, right? They are not alike. People are different. Why are they? Why their natures are different? Why are their nature different? Because of the various different quality, different percentage of goodness, passion and ignorance with which they are conditioned. Are you with me? Are you understanding what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah. So the way we behave is because of the way we are conditioned, and that condition comes from us. We are conditioned based on various reasons, right? So now what we learn is the quality. How will we know how one person is conditioned, right? So when someone is the mode of goodness, then how will that person behave? The person will be calm, stable, peaceful, happy, kind, merciful, compassionate, knowledgeable about scriptures, knowing about soul, knowing about that, then it will be satisfied, it will be it will be humble. So these are the nature, these are the, when you see these characteristics and qualities, then you know that person is the mode of goodness, right? Similarly, we have modes of passion. What is the mode of passion? How do you see that such people? They have unlimited desires. They have they have, because of unlimited desire, they have, you know, they are very greedy. They want more, dil mange more. Then they have lot of urge to earn more wealth, lot of enjoyment. Whatever enjoyment they do, it's not, they are not satisfied, they want more. If things are not met, they become angry. And because of all those things, unlimited desires, you know, want to have more wealth, the anger, they are anxious. You'll see such people very anxious, agitated. Small things, they'll get agitated. They are always restless, right? So such qualities are in the mode of passion. Such qualities are in the mode of passion. Then in the mode of ignorance, what are the qualities? They are lazy people. Lazy. They don't want to know about anything. They will always be a dreamer. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to achieve this. But at the end, what will happen? They will not put any effort to achieve it, right? Intoxicate, they like to, you know, they'll be involved in intoxication, extreme violence, extreme cruelty. So these qualities are of the mode of ignorance, right? So we talked about three, the reason we talked about ego, attachment, fear, and insecurity. All these these behaviors are seen, you know, in the mode of passion, and that is why Krishna has told here, Kam Esha Krodesha. We saw this shlok, right? Kam Esha Krodesha. Kam Esha Krodesha Rajoguna Samadbhava. This all are a part of Rajoguna. Rajo means mode of passion. And because the conflict mainly arises because of the mode in which we are operating, and maximum it is the mode of passion, right? If you look at Arjun was also in the mode of passion, right? And that is why he was confused. Yeah. So these are the qualities in different modes. Now, so qualities in mode of passion, as we saw, unlimited desire, passion, greed, urge for wealth, enjoyment, and then we see what these qualities reflect to all of us as high on ego. Do what I say. I want this. Anything you tell them, you know, they get angry. They feel that they are the most superior people. They are the high on ego, high on attachment, right? Fear, low on spiritual knowledge. They will not have spiritual, they will not be interested to know about spiritual things. It is not their cup of tea. But someone who is in goodness will like to read, understand the scriptures, know about why things are happening that way. They will be spiritually inclined. And such people who are in mode of passion, small disagreement or not, things as not their way, would lead to conflict. Have you seen such people? Can you relate with these qualities, people that you are in your life? Can you identify people of these three nature in your life? Have you seen such people in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance? Yeah.
I think mode of passion is quite, common.
Yeah, that is very common, especially now, currently, that is what is driving. Either it is passion or it is ignorance. Yeah. And also we should remember one thing. This mode, any one of us are, we are not always in one mode. All of us are in a combination of these modes. But how do we judge in which mode normally a person is? So we see each of us are a combination of mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Now, the person in whom the mode of goodness is higher, if the percentage is highest, then that person will be characterized more as a person in mode of goodness. Some person, the mode of passion will be higher, so they'll be in the mode of characterized as a passionate person. In some people it is mode of ignorance which is higher, so they will be more of ignorant. That is how we characterize people, right? Now we will go into detail about egoist person. What are the characteristics of an egoist person, right? So how do we see them? Strong sense of I and mine, right? So it is me, I. Everything is ego. Where how do you say this person is high ego? Everything will be I based, right? And mine. So I am the priority. Everything should work according to me, right? So believes I am the controller. Takes excessive ownership of success. In a team, maybe as a team everyone has worked for the thing, but then the person will say, oh, I have achieved it. It is not, will not give credit to the team. I have done it, right? And that person will struggle to share credit. So such leaders create team disconnect. They are egoist, right? Then there is a shlok from Bhagavad Gita. It says, Prakrite kriyamani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma karta hamiti manyate. Speak after me. Prakrite kriyamani
Prakriti kriyamana
Kriyamani
gunai karmani sarvasha
gune
karmani
karmani
Mani
sarvasah
sarvasha
ahankara vimudhatma
ahankara
ahankara
vimudhatma
vimudhatma
vipuratma
karta ham iti madhyate.
kartaham
karta
iti
kartaham iti
manyate.
himati
Yeah,
madyate.
ahankar means egoist. Vimudhatma means foolish person. The foolish egoist person. Karta aham, I am the doer. Iti manyate, thinks that he is the doer. Who is this ahankara vimudhatma? Actually, who does the thing? Prakriti kriyamanani. Prakriti, it is the modes of material nature. Prakriti is the modes of material nature. They do it based on the Gudai karmani sarvasha. Sarvamash is always who is the doer behind? It is the Prakriti, is the way the person, how the person is conditioned, and that actually makes a person do what they do. That is the internal reason why the person behaves, that it is there. We can't see those things. They're internal. We can only see the behavior and know how it is. And that is why now I'm discussing the behavior. So we know how, if you can map the people, how high they are on ego on the scale of 1 to 10. When you see these behaviors, how. So Krishna says that ahankara, it is not anyone who does it. It is basically Prakriti, the spirit soul bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. Right? So based on how our modes we are in, I behave the way I behave. Understood? But what I think, that I have done everything. The egoist person will think, so it is me. Right? Second, what are the characteristics of egoist person? Inability to accept criticism. As soon as you want to give them a feedback, oh okay, I know, please, sorry, don't give me any feedback, I'm the best. So they react defensively, justifies mistakes, blames others. They will never take the blame that I am at fault. They will never look inside themselves. For them always things goes wrong because of someone else. Right? So that is the inability to accept criticism. They can't take feedback. So inside, ego resists correction even if it's necessary. Right? Then desire for recognition and validation. They always want to be appreciated. Seek superiority over others. Feel insecure without praise. Lack of empathy. Dismisses others' perspective. They lack empathy. They will not hear others' opinion. Even if they hear, they are not listening. Someone may talk about it, but they'll say, no, what I say, this is right, please do it accordingly, right? So what will happen? They will have weak relationship and trust issues. Attachment to position and power. Anger when ego is hurt. And if someone, they are senior to them, try to hurt, say something which they can't reply, they become very angry. Easily offended. Holds grudges. reacts impulsively. So because of the ego, they develop attachment to the work or things that they do, which leads to desire, and then they remain angry. And they have a competitive rather than a collaborative mindset. They are very difficult to work in a team because they are very competitive. They don't like to work in a team. So an egoist person is one who is overly identified with self-importance, driven by control, recognition and superiority, while lacking humility, self-awareness and higher purpose. Right? So how do we see an egoist person than a Gita-based leader? They will take credit, but a good leader will give credit. Egoist person will blame others, and a good leader will take responsibility. Egoist person will seek control, and a good leader will empower others. A egoist person will react emotionally, but a good leader will respond consciously. A egoist person will drive by pride, he'll be driven by purpose. So the true leaders are humble, right? So opposite of ego is humility. Yeah, Ratna Madaji, yes.
Actually, Sushmita, what you're telling is okay. But if this quality of being egoistic or whatever, it inbuilt in the person. So can you say that person is wrong or that person is right? Because who is at fault? Person is by default is like this.
So
Are
such
you?
person, what will happen? There'll always be conflict. So later we'll be talking
They,
about,
they, they always create problem, but
yes,
it's not their fault because they are like this.
yes,
So
yes.
how
That
to
that's
handle that kind of
yes.
person?
And ma'am, what we need to do is they will create problem because they are like that. So
Yeah.
so it all depends upon how that person is in which environment. Now it's a family environment. Now suppose a father is egoist person. You can't help it. Everyone understands and start living around that way, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
here, when someone now suppose you are with your boss in a team where your boss is egoist, you learn to live around him in that way. Now the question is here, if someone is like that around that, how we can help to how we can manage, what we can do, and how we can tell them, how that person can improve so that things can become better, right? The question is, first thing is a realization that the person has this nature. First thing, awareness. Many times people are not aware that these are their shortcomings, right?
Yeah.
So in a class like this, when a teacher is speaking, at that point of time when they're listening, that's why I'm taking these characteristics into detail. They understand, oh, this is how I behave. Oh, so if they do self reflection and they have a intention to improve, then what will happen? They will actually seek how we can change and probably go in that way. Unless if the person doesn't want to change, if the person say, oh, this is what I am, I can't change, then nothing can happen, right?
Yes. Just
But
like
they will,
Duryodhan. Just
huh?
like Duryodhan.
Like Duryodhan, just like
Yes.
Duryodhan. But they will be the cause of conflict every time,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
So
Right.
Duryodhan represents the mode of passion and ignorance. Passion, he wants everything. He wants the entire. I mean, he wants the entire wealth of when forget about Hastinapur. When Indraprasth was given to Yudhishthir Maharaj, and he also wanted Indraprasth. He wants everything, right? He wants to own everything and enjoy everything alone. Where Yudhishthir Maharaj, when this Dhritarashtra gave him this place, a barren land of Indraprasth, he worked on it to make it a beautiful palace, and Duryodhan could not tolerate it, right?
Yes.
So the thing is, if Duryodhan wants to improve, then only we'll improve. First of all, he should be aware that he has a problem. Normally an egoist person will not even accept he has a problem. That is their problem, right? So they need to
Yes.
be attend such class like this where they can hear it and maybe self-reflect and maybe understand, and that will make the life of the people around them easier. Otherwise everyone has to bear, and in India we are very good, we just try to adjust with each other and live. But if it is and now India is also changing, what happens? There is an ego, two ego clashes. After some time, I don't want to stay with you, separate it out, isn't it?
Right. Everybody you cannot replace. Yes, you have to
Yes,
be with the person. Yeah.
yes, you
That's
just
right.
so that's what. So now I'm saying talking about the opposite of that. So opposite of ego is humility. What is the opposite of ego? So how to handle a ego person is only by humility. How to avoid conflict by an ego person? As soon as one person is ego, the second person is also ego, there will always be fight in the family at the home, right? Any place where two egoist people are there, there will always be discussion, argument, and the peace will not prevail. There will be no mode of goodness there, right? So how to handle or what to do? So ego can only be won over by humility, right? So ego is in the mode of passion, whereas humility is in the mode of goodness. Humility is in the mode of goodness, right? So let us see. I'll now be talking about a story demonstrating ego and humility, right? So this is about Duryodhan versus Yudhishthir. So Ratnam, I am taking Duryodhan's example now to explain this ego and humility. So Duryodhan is the epitome of egoism and Yudhishthir Maharaj is an epitome of humility, right? We agree? Yeah. So we all know the kingdom of Hastinapur. Both, whether it's Duryodhan or it is Yudhishthir, they both belongs to Kuru dynasty. They belong to Kuru dynasty, and basically both are Kauravas because they belong to the Kuru dynasty. But then we call Yudhishthir and all are Pandavas because of the Pandu, son of Pandu, and Duryodhan as they they are the Kauravas. So Dhritarashtra make it clear that we are the rightful owner of the dynasty, not Pandavas, by calling them separate right from beginning, Pandavas and Kauravas, right? Now the royal so what happened? What did Dhritarashtra do? By unfair means, because he wanted to make Duryodhan as the king of Hastinapur, he actually started and he did not like that everyone started liking Yudhishthir, so he actually moved Yudhishthir away. He gave a barren piece of land somewhere, saying that okay, you go and make Indraprasth there and stay there with all your 5 brothers, all Pandavas, you go and stay there. But what happened? Because of Vishwakarma and Maya, they created a beautiful palace called Indraprasth Palace, and then they invited Duryodhan and everyone. And what happened? Duryodhan was so jealous seeing that beautiful palace, magical palace that was created, and especially he had actually fallen. He thought it's a piece of land, and when he walked into that, he actually fell down, and it was water, right? And then he became so jealous that he could not tolerate the success of Yudhishthir. And then he started contemplating how to get this also in his power. And then he planned the game of dice, which was adharma over dharma. Now, the people who are egoist, they want to win in any case. Ego uses unfair means to win. For them, winning is important, whether it is a fair mean or unfair mean. So Duryodhan, what he did, he actually, he had rigged the game. It was all manipulation in the game, and the dice game was lost by Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir lost all his brothers, he lost his wife, he lost all his wealth, everything was lost, and at the same time he had to go for exile for 13 years, 12 years otherwise, and 1 year was Agyatva. So ego uses unfair means to win, and that's what Duryodhan did. Humility stay aligned with principles even in loss. But Yudhishthir, although he lost, but he still was followed the dharma. Then what happened? They all went to exile for 12 years, and in the exile, Yudhishthir Maharaj actually reflected about what is right, what is wrong. So, but what happened? Duryodhan did not get satisfied by sending them for exile for 13 years. Adversities humbles the wise but inflates the ego of the ignorant. And then the peace proposal. What happened? Yudhishthir first went asking for 5 villages. Krishna went as a peace with the peace proposal, but still Duryodhan never wanted to compromise. His ego prefers destruction over compromise. He was ready to have a war, but he never wanted to compromise. Humility prefers peace over victory. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, he said, okay, fine, you want Indraprasth, take Indraprasth, but give me 5 villages at least, so that we all can actually manage one village. But then Duryodhan, ego prefers destruction over compromise. He did not. He said, "I will not give you even land of as small as the tip of the needle." Then the war of Kurukshetra happened. What was the final outcome? Duryodhan lost everything: kingdom, brothers, life, and Yudhishthir became king with responsibility and humility. Final insight: if those who are egoist, that will lead to destruction, even with power. And those who are humble, they will lead by responsibility even after victory. Yeah. So the core lesson from the story is: ego says, I must win at any cost, and humility says, let dharma prevail. So ego is win over by humility. Always humility will finally win over. Sometimes in our life, we are, if suppose there is a situation where say husband is egoist and the wife is humble. I think in my previous semester, once someone had asked me this question, that I always I becomes humble and I always accept. Always remember, the person who is humble is in the mode of goodness, and the person who is egoist is in the mode of passion. And goodness, although you are going down today, but you are actually the winner. Bowing down, being humble is a sign of victory. It is not, it doesn't make you small, but that I listened or I became humble. Humble is a sign of goodness. That's why we talked about the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. In the mode of goodness, those who are in the mode of goodness, they will go to higher planets. Those who are in the mode of passion will remain in the earthly planets or will go down, and those who are in the mode of ignorance will go down, animal planets or lower planets, demons planets. So this is what is written in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So being humble, adjusting, listening is a It's a divine value. It's a divine value, divine behavior. Yeah. So humility says, so ego, when there is a conflict of ego, what we have to do? It has to be balanced by humility. Right? Next. So let's see the leadership contrast here. Mindset: Duryodhan, jealousy and insecure; Yudhishthir, calm and principled. So those, there's a in multiple shloks in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, it has been told that those who are jealous or envious, they can never grow spiritually. So jealousy, or this is such a behavior that will always pull the people down. It will always make the people down. It will never help them to go up. Right? So their karmas will be such that it will pull them down. So mindset of an egoist person will be jealousy and insecure. Of a humility person with a humble person will be calm and principled as per the dharma. Decision making for a egoist person will be emotional driven, but for a humble person will be dharma driven. Yeah. Conflict approach of Duryodhan: escalate conflict, where Yudhishthir resolves conflict. Use of power: control and domination. This will be responsibility and service. Outcome: destruction, and for outcome for humility will be sustained leadership. Right? So this was on egoist. So if suppose conflicts are happening because of ego behaviors, egoist thing, then we have to manage it by humility. Somehow, if we can, if it is in our circle of influence, we have to help the person. How we can do? We can help the person in some way to attend some courses where they can have an understanding about their own behaviors, and if they want, they can look inside them and then change. How they can change, we will be talking in the later part of the class, right? But at least they can be made aware that they are egoist, right? Now the second, so we talked about three things. One thing egoist, second we talked about attachment. So now what is an attached person? When we say that this person is attached, what exactly is the characteristics, or how do we define that this person is person is in always in an attached mode?
They want to have control over things. They are
Mm-hmm.
probably clingy, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
be it of a person or of a material thing, property or something. They always want to have, that's what I've observed. Person
Mm-hmm.
who's attached.
Yes, yes. Anything more?
More focus on results rather than efforts.
More focus on
Results.
results, right? Yeah. So for them everything is again I, in the sense I need to be happy, I need to this to be happy. They want people to make them happy, this must go my way, this person or results, and as you rightly said, they're attached, they are dependent on people or material, their dependency or that attachment is very high. So attachment is mental and emotional dependency on someone or outcomes, right? So let us now start looking at characteristics of such a person. First, strong expectations from outcomes, right? As we saw, you know, we are attached to results. Then we want the outcome to the way we want, right? We have done the works, then we expect the outcome to happen the way we want. Outcome may not happen like that, right? But then we want to control the outcome. So this is the strong expectation from outcome. Want specific results. They're very clear. This is how it should happen. What Krishna says, it doesn't, your results doesn't, is not directly proportional to the effort you have put. There are so many reasons because of which the outcome happens. So it is not like that. But the attached people wants the outcome to be totally controlled as per their requirement. They feel disturbed when things don't get their way. If it is not, the outcome is not as per them, they will be mentally very disturbed. So attachment to results leads to anxiety, and then that's why they will be very always anxious because they want everything their way, right? Emotional dependence on people. They'll be emotionally dependent on people. If suppose they want you to do X, if you don't do X, then they are unhappy. They want to do Y, so everything should happen as per they want you to do. If you have not done that way, then immediately their mood will become bad. So happiness depends on others' behavior. So basically other people, they are like, they are remote controlled by others' emotions, other people. So it is very easy to for the people they are dependent on, it is very easy for them to manipulate their behaviors, because their behaviors are not controlled by themselves but by others' behavior, right? So if other people don't behave that way, I will get, me and my daughter, I am controlled by my daughter. If my daughter doesn't behave like that, then I'll get disturbed, right? So basically it is, my remote control is in my daughter's hand, because I don't have control over myself. You understanding this? When you have emotional dependency on others and their actions make you happy or not happy, it means your remote control is in someone else's hands. You're getting this point? Very important point for us to know. If we want to be happy, we should not be dependent on anyone else's behavior, because if that person's or that material, that not only person or things which on which my happiness is dependent, then it means I am controlled by someone else. I don't have control over my life or my mood. Yeah, Mira, yes.
जी, बस वही हो रहा है कि हम किसी के बिहेवियर पे डिपेंडेंट रहते हैं, कि जैसे कि हम हमारे फैमिली में बच्चे हैं, कोई भी जो फैमिली पर्सन है, उसकी खुशी में हम लोग अपना, तो वहाँ कभी कभी हम लोग वहां पे ही डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं। वही मेन चीज है कि फैमिली हमारे आसपास जो भी पर्सन है उनको उसके बिहेवियर से हम लोग खुद काफी टाइम डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है ऐसा।
हाँ, इट मीन्स क्या होता है ना, इट मीन्स हमारा इमोशनल मेच्योरिटी पूरा नहीं है। माई माइंड इज नॉट इन माई कंट्रोल, मेरे माइंड जो है मेरे कंट्रोल में नहीं है ना। अगर मेरा माइंड मेरे कंट्रोल में होगा, देन आई विल डिसाइड व्हाट विल मेक मी हैप्पी एंड व्हाट विल नॉट मेक मी हैप्पी, राइट? But if someone's actions make me sad, someone's actions makes me happy, it means I am being controlled by that person's behavior, right? You getting me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and that is what is that is what Krishna says, that we have to be detached. Detached means we have to make our mind so strong that no one is remote controlling me. I decide how I want my behavior to be with me, and that is what is basically the level to be achieved. That is what is the level. Normally what you are saying, Miral, is the normal thing. If my kids are not behaving properly as per me, what is happening? My mood will become off. My husband did not listen to me, my mood will become off. My friend did not come to meet me, I was expecting that, my behavior will become off. It means what happens? I am being controlled by all of them. You are getting me? है ना? Which is not right. Which is not right. I should not be controlled by them, but I should be able to control myself. I should be able to decide what is my happiness and not that, right? So, emotional dependent people. Meera Mataji, I think you need to be mute. Yeah. So happiness depends on others' behavior, and they feel hurt easily, especially among friends. You know, I told her something, but that person didn't listen, so they become very upset. So feels hurt easily when expectations are not met, right? So
Right.
this shows the attachment behavior of attachment. Third, fear of loss. Constant worry about losing relationships, status, and possessions. Yeah, these are my things. What will happen if I'm not doing this job? I can lose my relationships, my relations. I can lose my relations. If I don't have enough money, if I'm not able to maintain my status, what will happen? People will start looking down at me. So they are away from the reality. I may not be capable of doing things. I may not be capable of maintaining the same status, but I am forced to maintain the same status so that what people will say, because I am bothered about others' thought about me, and that is why I'm pushing myself to behave the way I'm behaving, or living the way I want to live, or dressing the way I want to dress. Right? That is attachment. How I want to be seen by others. राइट अभी क्या होता है वो सोशल मीडिया में, उसने मुझे अप्रिशिएट नहीं किया, उसने मुझे टिक नहीं किया, दिस पर्सन इज नॉट इवन सीन टिल नाउ एंड आई एम अपसेट. So imagine how easy we have made ourselves to be controlled by others in social media. That person did not praise my dress that I was wearing, and then my mood is off. That person forget to give me the like, so I'm not like, I'm upset, I'm anxious. He or she has not seen it till now, so it's disturbing me. How weak we have become mentally, right? So fear of loss, constant relationship, status, possessions, right? Aaj nahi hai, nahi, I'll not wear a nice sari, I don't have a sari, fine. But no, my status will go low if I don't wear like this and go down, right? So all this is what I'm doing. I'm getting controlled by others. I'm not genuinely myself, right? So this is all a symbol of attached people, and they will always be anxious and insecure. If I don't do this, I will not be in that friend circle. If I don't go for this party, they will not call me next time in the party. Right? All these things happen, isn't it? So they have difficulty in letting go, holds on to past experiences, grudges, relationships. Attachment resists change. Then mood swings based on success or failure. We discussed this earlier also. If I achieve something, I am happy. I wanted to achieve this thing, I did not get it, so I am sad. So happy when things go well, disturbed when outcomes are not favorable. So attachment resists change. Desire for control. They want to control everything because they know that because of them, because all those things affects my happiness. So they have a controlling tendency and gets frustrated when control is lost. Resistance to change and growth, sticks to comfort zone, avoids new perspective, lack of adaptability. This happens in offices a lot. Yeah, I'm happy doing this work, so I don't want to change my work. But remember, if you want growth, then you have to change. You have to be always in your uncomfort zone. If you are in your comfort zone, then what will happen? You will not grow. And attachment leads to anger. Attachment develops lust, that develops anger, illusion, loss of memory, intelligence loss, lost people fall down, right? We have read this slok in the previous semester, in the last semester. Please repeat after me. Dhyayate vishyan punsah
ध्यायते विषयान् पुंसः
sangastes upajayate
Jayate
संगस्तेषुपजायते
sangat sanjayate kamah
Sangat
संगात् संजायते
Jayate
कामः
kamat krodho bhijayate.
कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते
Jayate
ध्यायते, ध्यायते means contemplating, meditating. ध्यान, ध्यान करना. ध्यायते किस तरह? विषयान पुंसा, पुंसा is people. Vishya means on some material thing. When they are contemplating on some material thing, sangateshu upajayate. Then what happens? Attachment develops from, sang is attachment, develops for upajayate. Jayate means, upajayate means it develops to that object on which we had been meditating. We want a mobile phone. The iPhone 18 has come. I want iPhone 18. I want iPhone 18. Whether my pocket is allowing or not, but all my friends have, and that is a status symbol. So I want iPhone 18. But my financial status, I can't buy it. But I don't mind taking loan and buying it, or strain my financial. So dhyayate vishyan punsa. When you are meditating or when you are contemplating on a material thing, when people are doing that, then attachment to that it gets created. Sangat sanjayate kama. Kama is again desire, more lust for to obtain it happens. And kamat krodha bhijayate. And from that desire, anger develops. If I can't get it, then what will happen? I like it, but I can't have it. Then I'll get angry. Right? And then what will happen? Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Please repeat after me. Krodhat bhavati sammoha.
क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः
Sammohat smriti vibhrama.
सम्मोहात्
स्मृतिविभ्रमा
विभ्रमः
Smriti भ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो.
स्मृतिभ्रंशात्
भ्रंशात्
बुद्धिनाशो
बुद्धिनाशो
बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति.
बुद्धिनाशात्
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 प्रणश्यति
प्रणश्यति
So now when anger comes, krodhat bhavati sammoha. Because of krodha, what happens? Bhavatis happens. What happens? Sammoha, illusion. You start imagining about it. How beautiful this iPhone 18 would have been. Usme ye feature hoga. I can use that feature for this thing. And from that illusion, smriti vibhrama, your memory gets lost. Your smriti vibhrama means your memory gets lost. And when smriti vibhrama, when your memory gets lost, what will happen? Your buddhi nasho, your intelligence is lost. And when your buddhi nasho, when intelligence lost, what happens? You fall down. You fall down to the material pool again, right? From anger, complete delusion arises. From delusion, bewildered of memory happens. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again in the material pool, right? So what is the root cause of attachment as per Bhagavad Gita? Because
Which chapter is this? Which
huh?
this
This is
60 shlok
chapter number
chapter?
second, chapter number 2, shlok number 62 and 63. It describes the complete process from from attachment to how people fall down, right? Then root cause of attachment as per Bhagavad Gita, because we think why we have get attached to all these material thing, because we don't know our natural self. We think the soul associates to the body. We think that I am Sushmita, but actually when I have a realization that I am soul, I am not this material body, then what will happen? I will do activity which is more more for the soul than for the body. All these material things that we run after is temporary. This body is temporary. This will go away, right? But soul is eternal. So I will do things which can help, which is for the soul, so that it can help me to cross the cycle of birth and death. Yeah, but because we think that, there's nothing like soul, I am this body and I have come here to enjoy, I work hard, lose all my time in working, don't have any time for spiritual advancement, and finally after working whatever I earn, I go and buy all material things, think this is what life is, right? But what I am doing, I am actually in the mode of passion, I am actually running after material pleasure, and either I will again come back on this earth, or I will fall down to animal kingdom, or fall down to the lower planets, right? So attachment, what is the root cause of attachment? Because of the misunderstanding of body and mind, because we want clarity about body and mind, because we want to, our desire for enjoyment and control. I got one car, I want one more car, I have got one house, I want one more house, all these endless things. I have a small house, now I want this, my friend bought this car, so I want this car. All our whole life gets spent in this comparison, without realizing why this human life has been given. This human life has been given to spiritually advance ourselves, so that we can go back to Godhead, right? Forgetting higher purpose. This is the higher purpose, to break the cycle of birth and death, right? So we forget higher purpose, we are just we enjoy. So attachment, what will do? It binds to what? To the planet, to the earthly planet, or to the lower planet. But what happens? Detachment liberates, and that is why Krishna said, Karmanye vadika raste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karm phal heturbhur mati sangosta akarmani. Yeah, so when we are detached, we get liberated, right? Now let us talk about a story demonstrating attachment and detachment. So this is about Bhishma's attachment to his vow, right? His vow. So we know about Bhishma. His actual name was Devrata. He was the son of King Shantanu, and King Shantanu from Mother Ganga, Devrata was born. And then Ganga left after Devrata was born. She left Shantanu, and down the line Shantanu had fallen in love with Satyavati, who was a fisherman's daughter. And then the fisherman refused to marry Satyavati to Shantanu because of Devrata. Devrata was because he thought that because Devrata is the elder son, he will get the kingdom, so I will not marry my daughter to him. So Devrata, when he came to know about that, he took a vow. He took the vows. He said he renounced the throne. He took lifelong celibacy, and he promised to serve and protect the throne of Hastinapur forever. And because he took such a tough vow, he started being called Bhishma because of the strong vows that he took. Now when he took the vow at that point of time, it was selfless, it was dharma driven, and it was noble, right? At that type of time, it was required, he took it and did it, right? Then what happened? The vow became his identity. Now because of this Bhishma vow he had taken, everyone started calling him Bhishma Pitama. We all know him as Bhishma Pitama, and that became his identity. And he, from bodily, he got attached to that. Vow. So he came to be known for his commitment, integrity, and his unbreakable identity. Now he began to define himself as the protector throne no matter what. So what begins as a sacrifice can slowly become attachment to identity. So the vow his name got changed as Bhishma. The vow got identified, and he started identifying himself as Bhishma and to the vow. So he has to follow the vow under any condition. The moral conflict begins. As the Kuru dynasty progressed, Duryodhan grew in arrogance. Adharma increased in the kingdom. Bhishma clearly knew the Pandavas were right. Duryodhan was unjust, but he remained bound by his vow. He never said anything to Duryodhan. I must serve the throne of Hastinapur, because that is the vow he had taken. Draupadi's humiliation, the turning point. During the infamous court scene, what happened? Draupadi was humiliated. She cried out for justice. Even then, Bhishma remained silent. He did not speak. He knew it was adharma. He knew it was adharma, but still he remained silent, right? So deep inside, this was not lack of knowledge. It was a deep conflict within him about dharma and attachment to his vow. So he was so attached to his vow that he actually did not take the part of dharma. Bhishma Pitama was so attached to the vow that he did not take part of dharma. Then fighting for the Kauravas. During the war of Kurukshetra, he fought from the Kaurava side. Not because he believed in them. He knew, but he had a vow to protect the throne. Even though he knew that Pandavas are the righteous one. So attachment can force even wise people into supporting the wrong side. Because of his attachment to the vow, he was so much attached to the vow that he took the wrong side. Bhishma versus Krishna. In the battlefield, Bhishma fought fiercely. Even tried to force Krishna to break his vow. And Bhishma commitment, even actually Bhishma Pitama was a very, very, very great devotee of Krishna. He was a very great devotee of Krishna. But still, he was happy that he made Krishna break his vow. So Bhishma commitment had turned into rigidity and pride for his vow that he will make Krishna break his vow, right? And the bed of arrows realization. Eventually, Bhishma was defeated and lay on the bed of arrows. In that state, his ego dissolved, his clarity returned. And then he has given actually a very profound teaching in Mahabharata, which is an example for dharma, leadership and duty. So, what was the problem with Bhishma? Bhishma's trap, overcommitment to past decisions. And what is the right thing to do? Align with higher purpose. Bhishma was inflexible, but we should be ready to adapt. Bhishma was trapped by loyalty overriding righteousness, but we have to put dharma before personal identity, right? So this is the story of attachment to the vow by Bhishma. There is another story about detachment, which is Krishna's vow. Does anyone know about Krishna's vow? What is the story?
Yes.
I will not pick up the arms in the war.
Yes, but what happened?
Bhishma
Bhishma,
was killing everybody, so he said, okay, I will. Then he picks up his wheel of his chariot, and then Bhishma says that, okay, you have lost your vow, now no fight.
Yes, and he surrendered, right? He surrendered, and that was the time when actually Arjun put all the arrows in him, right? Yes, that is right. Yeah. So that was the story of detachment. So again, we are on the same page. What is the root cause of conflict? We saw ego, we saw attachment, and with ego and attachment comes fear and insecurity, right? So this is dependent upon here, right? So most conflict are not about situation, is about uncontrolled emotions. So the answer, like for ego, when the conflict is because of ego, how we can overcome it? We can overcome it by humility. Similarly, when the conflict is for attachment, how we can overcome it is by detachment. How we can neutralize it is by detachment, right? Now we move forward. How to manage or resolve conflicts. And that is so today's topic is conflict management, inner strength and patience. So that is the second part of the topic inner strength and patience actually takes us to how to resolve conflicts. So conflict resolution can happen if we get understanding of higher principles. How Krishna helped Arjun to understand, right? So understanding higher principles, let's understand. So what is a higher principle? How we can actually move from the mode of passion in which we are to the mode of goodness. What does mode of goodness qualify as? Mode of goodness qualify as being calm, being peace, right? Being calm, being peaceful, being happy, being knowledgeable, right? So to move to that, what we should know, we have to have a realization about who am I. So who am I? I am soul, and I am a body which is different than soul, and body is different than soul. And what is my real identity? I am not this body, but I am a spiritual being. This is what we should remember. Yeah. Then the question is, why did we get this body? We got this body because of our desires, because of our karma, and because of the ignorance of true self, because we don't know who we are, right? And what is our actual purpose? What is our actual purpose? To come out of the cycle of birth and death, right? To surrender to Krishna. Then we have done this. This is how it is. Our body, one is our body, this is our soul, and this is our the subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and ego, right? Then Krishna says in the 15th chapter, I am a spiritual being, I am there, but who are all of us? Krishna says, Mamai Vansho Jiva Loke Jiv Bhuta Sanatana. He says, all living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragment parts. All of us are part of Krishna. We are spiritual, we are part of Krishna, but what is happening to us? What is happening to us? Manah kashtani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. But we all are struggling. But we are karshati. Karshati means struggling. Why we are struggling? By man. Man is mind. Kashti is basically the six. By the indriya, by the five senses that we have, and including the mind. Because of all these things, we are actually struggling. So the living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts, but they are suffering, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So what is Krishna explains here? That all living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. All are conditioned by the three modes of material nature. These conditioned entities are struggling hard, and the cause of struggle is the mind, which is attached to the five senses, right? So the question is, if you look at the conflicts that we talked about, ego, conflicts are mainly caused due to ego. In which material mode it is? It is the mode of passion. And it can be resolved by humility, which is the mode of goodness. Similarly, attachment is the mode of passion. Detachment is in the mode of goodness. Fear or insecurity is in the mode of passion or ignorance. And surrendering to Supreme is in the mode of goodness. So, how we can actually balance the conflict? Ego can be balanced by humility, attachment by detachment, fear or insecurity by surrendering to Supreme, right? So we all have read about these qualities of different mode. We know that mode of goodness is calmness, stability, peace, happiness, kindness, mercy, compassion, knowledge. We talked about these qualities. So resolving conflicts. Resolving conflict is a journey from moving from the mode of passion to the mode of goodness. This is what the journey we have to cover to come out of the conflict. Then how to move from the mode of passion to the mode of goodness? By controlling the mind and by connecting to Krishna. These are the two ways by which we can move from passion to goodness, by controlling the mind and by connecting to Krishna. How is the mind connected to body and soul? Mind is the one which connects to soul and the body. It controls the senses, right? And we have already read about this chariot example. All the horses are the senses, the reins is the mind, the charioteer is the intelligence, the chariot is the body, and the passenger is the soul, right? So if our reins are weak, if the reins are weak, what will happen? The horses will run here and there, and we will fall down, isn't it? This is what we have read in our chariot example, isn't it? So what we need to do? We need to actually strengthen our mind, because when we strengthen our mind, we'll have a. So why we need to manage my mind? Krishna says in the 6th chapter, Udharet Atmanam Atmanatmanam. Please repeat after me. Udharet Atmanatmanam.
Udreta
Atman
Natmanam avsadayet.
Atmanam
Sadhyate.
Atmaiva Atmano Bandhu.
Atmaivatmanubandhu.
Atmaiva Rupuratmanah.
Atmana.
So Krishna says that one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. So our mind should be used for helping us to deliver ourselves, to come from the cycle of birth and death, and The mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and is enemy as well. Mind is both, it's friend as well as enemy. And then Krishna says, please repeat after me. Bandhuratmanatmanastasya
बन्धुरात्मनस्त्वस्य
आत्मनस्तस्य
येनात्मैवात्मनः जितः
येनात्मैवात्मनः
आत्मनाजितः
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे
अनात्मनस्तु
अनात्मनस्तत्त्वे
शत्रुत्वे
वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्.
वर्तेतात्मैव
वर्तेतात्मैव
शत्रुवत्.
शत्रुवत्.
So Krishna says, for one who has controlled the mind is the best of friend. And for one who has failed to do so, mind is the greatest enemy, right? And then we have talked about this earlier in the first class, that mind is like if an uncontrolled mind is just like a knife in the hand of a small child. Where it will go and cut, we don't know, right? Similarly, uncontrolled mind is like a uncontrolled fire, and it is like a car being driven by drunkard. So an uncontrolled mind pulls us all away from what is right and beneficial, and will bind us to impulses, emotions and anxiety, right? So what are the characteristics of mind? What does Arjun says? Chanchalam, please repeat after me. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna,
चञ्चलं हि
Chanchalam
मनः कृष्ण
कृष्ण
pramathi balavadrinham,
प्रमाथि
प्रमाथि
बलवदृढम्
बलवद्रं
tasyaham nigraham manye,
तस्यां
Tasyaham
अहं
ग्रहं
निग्रहं मन्ये
vayuriv sudishkragaram.
वायोर्दुष्करं
So Arjun, after listening the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he concludes to Krishna and says, "Oh Krishna, you are asking me to control my mind, and my mind is such chanchal, it is such restless, it is so turbulent, it's so obstinate. It is chanchal pramathi bala vadrinam. It is basically restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. And controlling mind is more difficult than controlling the wind. It is easier to control the wind than controlling the mind. I think it is more difficult than controlling the wind." And Krishna answers, what does Krishna answers? Asanchayam mahabaho
असंख्य महाबाहो
mano durnigraha chalam
मनोदुर्निग्रहं चलम्
जलं
abhyasen tu kaunteya
अभ्यासेन
अभ्यासेन
कौन्तेय
vairagyena cha grihate.
वैराग्येण च गृह्यते.
So Krishna says, Asanchaya, right? What you're saying is absolutely right, Mahabhav. Oh Arjun, oh Mahabhav, oh Arjun, Asanchaya, there's no doubt about it. What? Mano durnigraham chalam man. It is very, very difficult to control the mind. Very, very difficult to control mind. But you can still control it. How you can control it? By abhyas, by practice, and by vairagya, by detachment. By practice and by detachment, we can control the mind. Yeah, this is what Arjun says. And we have read in the last semester, what does, when you say abhyas, what we need to do? The 5 principal tools we talked about: austerity, tapa, sattva, the mode of goodness. So we have to move ourselves from mode of passion to mode of goodness. Then vidya, by getting the right knowledge, the knowledge that we are getting now from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, mantra chanting and meditation. All these things will help us to, by abhyas, will help us to control our mind. And by detachment, which is Nishkam Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, we can actually get the control our mind, right? And so how does one feel when the mind is controlled? So let us read here. Apuryamana achala pratishtha
पूर्यमाण जलप्रतिष्ठम्
samudramapah pravishanti yadvat
समुद्रमापः प्रविशद्वत्
tadvat kama yam pravashanti sarve
तद्वत्कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
sashantim apnoti na kama kami.
शान्तिम्
Apnoti na
आप्नोति न
कामी.
So Krishna here explains, again this is from 2nd chapter 78th shloka. He says, a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires, right? that enters like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who satisfies the desire. So Krishna here explains that if someone is able to control mind, what will happen? He will become very, very peaceful. And for controlling the mind, what he has to do? He has to control, he has to remain peaceful, even though all the desires, although from the all the five senses we have, all from there, from all sides we are getting the desires, but we need to remain, we should not satisfy, we should not strive to satisfy the desire, but just remain calm. Yeah. And then he's equating this to ocean. He's saying just like in ocean, all the rivers are flowing towards the ocean, they join the ocean, but ocean never gets disturbed. Similarly, those who can do like that will actually remain peaceful. So someone who has controlled the mind and will not let the desire get disturbed by the desire which is flowing incessantly, then they'll remain peaceful. How does a controlled mind sees happiness and distress? Matra sparshastu kaunteya
Matra sparshastu kaunteya
Shitoshna sukha dukkhada
Shitoshna sukha dukkha
Agama payano nitya
Agma paya nitya
Tamsti tikshasva bharata.
Samsti Bharate.
So how does the happiness and distress looks in their life? So Krishna says, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sun's perspective of Sayan Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So Krishna is explaining here that all this happiness and distress are just like summer and season. They'll keep on coming. If we have taken this human birth, we will get happiness, we will get distress. But we should not get very happy when we get happiness. We should not get very distressed when we get happiness. We should be able to control our mind. And someone who can do that, we have to treat them just like summer and winter season, which keeps on coming in our life, right? We have to just take it as, okay, this is there, so what? And our focus should always be towards Krishna. So those who have balanced their mind, they will just take it, they will understand that, it doesn't matter. When we have taken birth, all these things will keep on coming, and we should not get disturbed by all these changes or distress or happiness that comes in our life. And what does such a controlled mind achieves? Yam hi na vyathyante te
Yam hina
vyathyante
Purusha Shabha
Purusha Shabha
Nama Dukha Sukham Dhiram
Tam Dukha Sukha Dhiram
So Amitava Kalpate.
So Mritvaya Kalpate.
Krishna says that person which is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. What do they achieve? They achieve liberation. Those who have controlled their mind do not get disturbed by happiness and distress, and they are emotionally balanced. What will happen? They get liberated. So how to move from mode of passion to mode of goodness? That is what we are saying, because if you are in mode of goodness, you will have all the good qualities, that divine qualities that we want to have. So by controlling the mind and by connecting to Krishna, these are the two methods by which we can actually move from mode of passion. Mode of passion means no happiness. You will be always running. We'll always be dil mange more, lot of desires, lot of all that behavior which we see today, that is in the mode of passion. And then what will happen? By controlling our mind, knowing that they all are material desires, we should not get disturbed by them. Our focus should be to do our work genuinely to the best of our ability and work for Krishna. So by connecting to Krishna, if we can do that, then we will actually get real happiness. Yeah. So and how do we get the connecting to Krishna? By Nishkam Karma Yoga. What is Nishkam Karma Yoga? Nishkam Karma, not Nishkam Karma Yoga. It is Karmanyevadikaraste
Karmanyevadikaraste
Ma phaleshu kadachana
Ma phaleshu
Kadachana
Ma karm phal heturbhur
Ma
Karma Phala Hetu
Mate sangosta karmani.
Mate
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 sangosto karmani.
Sangostava
So
Karmani.
we all know this. So this you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to the cause of results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. We have to do our duty, right? Then Bhakti Yoga. What is this? We have this is Mai Sarvani Karmani
Mai sarvani
Mai
karmani.
sarvani karmani
Mani Karmani.
Sannyasyaധ്യാത്ಮ chetasa
sannyasyadhyatmachetasa
Sannyasyadhyatmachetasa.
Sannyasyadhyatmachetasa.
निराशिर निर्ममो भूत्वा
Nirashara
nirashir
Nirashir
bhutva.
nirmamo
Nirmamo Bhutva.
युद्धस्व विगज्वरः.
Yudhyasva
yudhasva
Yudhasva
vikajvara.
vigatva
So how should
Vigacchava.
we work? We should work the Arjun surrendering all your works unto me, unto Krishna. So we should surrender all our works to Krishna with full knowledge of me, knowing that He is the Supreme, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship. If we can achieve that mode, then we'll be very, very peaceful and free from lethargy, fight. Yeah, so this is surrendering to Krishna. And this is the last, which is basically the summary of Bhagavad Gita. Sarv dharman parityajya
Sarva
Sarvadharmani
Dharman
parityajya
Pratyajya.
mam
Mam
ekam sharanam raja.
mam
Mama.
Mam
Mame
sharanam
ekam saranam
pratyajya.
Karanam
braja.
Vraja.
Aham tvam sarva papebhyo
Aham
aham
tvam
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 Sarva
sarvapapebhyo
Sarvapapebhyo.
papibhyo
mokshishyami ma shuchah.
makshishami ma
Makshishya.
shachya.
So
Shasha.
Krishna says in the end, in the 18th chapter to Arjun, after telling everything, he says, forget everything, leave everything, just surrender to me. And if you surrender to me, I will take care of you. Do not fear, right? So this is surrendering to Krishna. And then, so what we need to do? Conflict resolution can happen if we get understanding of higher principles by mind control and by connecting to Krishna. Living entities will move to the mode of goodness and may transcend that. This would create peace, harmony, and resolve conflicts. Yeah. So with this, we